10 most forgotten towns in England. England is a land of ancient cathedrals, grand cities and postcard villages, but scattered between them are towns time seems to have quietly left behind. These are the places that once bustled with trade, history and local pride, yet slowly faded from the spotlight. In this journey through the 10 most forgotten towns in England, we rediscover hidden English towns that have slipped under the tourist radar but still hold the essence of old Britain. From market squares to riverside gems, each one has a story worth remembering. 10. Petworth, West Sussex. If there's a town that defines the phrase quietly elegant, it's Petworth in West Sussex. Nestled near the South Downs National Park, Petworth's cobbled lanes, Georgian houses and antique shops paint a picture of timeless beauty. The centrepiece, Petworth House, a grand 17th century mansion now under the National Trust, once hosted artists like J.M.W. Turner, whose landscapes captured its golden light. Despite all this, Petworth remains a forgotten town in England's travel scene. Tourists racing toward Brighton or Arundel often bypass it completely, unaware that it offers some of the most charming streets in southern England. The local cafes, weekly markets, and nearby deer park give it a calm, lived-in soul, an antidote to modern rush. For those searching for hidden English towns with real character, Petworth delivers quiet perfection. 9. Ringwood, Hampshire. A few miles west of the New Forest lies Ringwood, a medieval market town that time treated kindly but publicity forgot. Founded in the 10th century, Ringwood thrived on trade and agriculture, with its Wednesday market running for over 750 years. The River Avon curves lazily through the town, its banks lined with traditional pubs and small bridges that seem straight out of an old painting. While the New Forest attracts millions of visitors annually, Ringwood is often just a pit stop for fuel or coffee. Yet those who wander its narrow streets find bakeries, independent shops, and old inns buzzing quietly with local life. The town's charm lies in its understatement, a perfect example of an underrated English market town that still carries medieval warmth. 8. Uppingham, Rutland. In England's smallest county sits one of its most easily overlooked treasures, Uppingham. This Rutland market town is as quaint as they come, with honeystone buildings, tidy streets, and a community that still greets strangers with a nod. Founded long before the Elizabethan age, Uppingham is home to Uppingham School, established in 1584 and still one of Britain's leading independent schools. Despite its heritage, few people outside Rutland even know it exists. Nearby Oakham tends to steal the attention, leaving Uppingham in relative peace. Its Friday market continues to thrive. The town square glows with old lamplight, and art galleries display works from local craftsmen. It's a place that feels untouched by the pace of modern life, a living postcard from gentler times. 7. Framlingham, Suffolk. Perched on a hill above the Suffolk countryside, Framlingham looks like a page from an English history book. Its 12th century castle, once the seat of the powerful Earls of Norfolk, was the place where Mary Tudor declared herself Queen of England in 1553. The castle walls still stand tall, overlooking terracotta rooftops, independent cafes, and a market square that has barely changed for centuries. Yet despite its royal connection, Framlingham remains one of the forgotten towns in England. Many travellers visiting Suffolk head to Oldborough or Southwold instead, leaving this medieval gem in quiet obscurity. Locals embrace that calm. They enjoy their traditional pubs, scenic walks by Framlingham Mere, and a rhythm of life that feels steady and sincere. Framlingham proves that history doesn't have to shout. It can whisper through the cobblestones. 6. Faversham, Kent. Halfway between Canterbury and Sittingbourne lies Faversham, one of Kent's oldest recorded towns. Once a thriving port on the Swale estuary, Faversham was an industrial and maritime powerhouse, known for shipbuilding, brewing and even gunpowder production. Its Shepherd Neame brewery, established in 1698, still operates today as the oldest in Britain. Despite this remarkable heritage, Faversham rarely makes it into travel guides. Most visitors flock to Canterbury's Cathedral or Whitstable's coast, leaving Faversham's cobbled streets and medieval buildings blissfully crowd-free. Its Guildhall, timbered houses, and vibrant markets tell of a town still rooted in tradition. The annual Hop Festival draws thousands, yet the rest of the year, Faversham enjoys a comforting stillness that modern cities can't replicate. It's an underrated town in England with layers of untold stories. 5. Skipton, North Yorkshire. Skipton, fondly known as the Gateway to the Dales, is the kind of northern market town that perfectly balances grit and grace. Its medieval castle stands firm above a bustling high street, where traders have sold goods since the 12th century. The Leeds and Liverpool Canal threads through the centre, reflecting centuries of commerce and craftsmanship. Yet, ironically, its position as a gateway is also what keeps Skipton slightly forgotten. Visitors head to the Yorkshire Dales beyond and rarely linger here. But Skipton deserves its own spotlight. The local markets, canal-side walks, and rich sense of Yorkshire pride make it one of the most livable small towns in England. For travellers seeking authenticity, this gateway to the Yorkshire Dales town is both welcoming and grounded. 4. Ludlow, Shropshire. If beauty were a competition, Ludlow would win medals. This medieval town, perched above the River Tame, boasts over 500 listed buildings, a Norman castle, and streets so well preserved they feel cinematic. Ludlow's half-timbered houses and cobbled lanes whisper of centuries past, while its thriving food scene, celebrated at the annual Ludlow Food Festival, adds a modern twist. But despite its charm, Ludlow remains outside most travel itineraries. It's too far west to be part of typical English tours and too small to compete with major cities. Yet that isolation is its strength. Visitors find a community proud of its roots, surrounded by rolling countryside and slow rhythms. Ludlow is a forgotten market town in England that perfectly captures why less really can be more. 3. Tewkesbury, Gloucestershire. Where the rivers Severn and Avon meet, you'll find Tewkesbury, a medieval town with crooked timbered buildings and one of England's most impressive abbeys. The Tewkesbury Abbey, dating back to the 12th century, is a masterpiece of Norman architecture and a centrepiece of the town's skyline. The streets surrounding it, known locally as Twick Streets, still carry the layout of a 15th century market network. Despite its rich history, Tewkesbury often slips through the cracks of travel fame, overshadowed by nearby Cheltenham and the Cotswolds. Flooding over the years has added to its struggles, but locals' resilience gives it character. Each summer, medieval festivals and riverside events revive its spirit, reminding everyone that Tewkesbury was, and still is, a jewel of Gloucestershire. For seekers of authenticity, it's a historic market town in England worth rediscovery. 2. Fenton, Staffordshire. In the heart of the potteries lies Fenton, a town both proud and paradoxically invisible. Once home to thriving pottery factories and skilled craftsmen, Fenton played a key role in shaping Britain's industrial era. Yet it's often called the Forgotten Town because it was left out of Arnold Bennett's famous Five Towns novels, even though 6 towns made up Stoke-on-Trent. That literary omission sealed its nickname and its fate. Today, much of Fenton's old industrial architecture survives: bottle kilns, red brick terraces, and churches that stand like monuments to working-class heritage. While regeneration is slowly reshaping parts of the town, its story remains largely untold. For those fascinated by industrial Britain, Fenton offers authenticity without pretense. a real, raw slice of northern England. It is arguably the truest example of a forgotten town in England that still beats with quiet determination. 1. Tenbury Wells, Worcestershire. At the top of the list sits Tenbury Wells, the most forgotten town in England, a small market settlement that once buzzed with life but now drifts just under the national radar. Located near the Shropshire border, Tenbury Wells earned its nickname, the town in the orchard, thanks to its apple and cider heritage. During the Victorian era, its pump rooms made it a spa destination, drawing visitors to its mineral waters and tree-lined streets. Over the years, floods from the River Thames, limited transport links, and shifting economies have tested Tenbury's endurance. Shops closed, industries moved, and headlines rarely came its way. Yet what remains is pure, unfiltered English character, half-timbered buildings, riverside walks, and townsfolk who know every neighbour by name. Despite modern challenges, its community spirit endures, proof that forgotten doesn't mean finished. Tenbury Wells might not appear on glossy brochures, but that's exactly why it deserves attention. Its mix of beauty, vulnerability, and authenticity makes it a perfect emblem for England's overlooked heartlands. For travellers or storytellers, Tenbury Wells is a reminder that the real soul of England often hides in plain sight. The 10 most forgotten towns in England are not ghostly or abandoned. They're living, breathing communities that thrive quietly without the noise of fame. Each town tells a story of endurance, tradition, and humble beauty that defines Britain's identity. From the orchards of Worcestershire to the markets of Kent, these forgotten towns in England show that sometimes the best discoveries aren't in guidebooks. They're waiting for you to simply look a little closer. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and don't forget to turn on the notification bell.